This is the 3.4 Failure of Reconstruction summary video. If you haven't already, please go and watch the 3.4 video that's already linked online. It should be no surprise after listening to the last summary video that Reconstruction failed. There are some reasons why Reconstruction failed. For one, the KKK intimidated African Americans and white Republicans. The federal troops in the South protected African Americans. However, as soon as those troops are gone, then there is no more protection for African Americans or white Republicans. White Southern Democrats sought to redeem the South and return to public office. And when they do that, then the South turns into what's called the Solid South, and they always vote Democratic up until the election of Richard Nixon. So not much actually changes because of Reconstruction. They go back to the way they were before the Civil War. The North ended up abandoning Reconstruction maybe a little too early because there were a lot of distractions that are going to cause them to want to end it. For one, there are some scandals in the Grant administration. There is also an economic depression in the North that's caused them to be concentrating on that instead of Reconstruction. There's a lot of violence against freedmen in the South that's going to lead Northerners to believe that things are never going to change, so why even worry about it? There's also interest in Western settlement, and there's continued resistance by the South, which causes the North to want to just stop Reconstruction. Reconstruction officially comes to an end with the election of 1876. There's no clear winner in the presidential election in the Electoral College, so it goes to the House of Representatives, and it's really close between Samuel Tilden and Rutherford B. Hayes. So they reach a compromise in 1877 that's going to solve the problem. Hayes would become president, and the Army would leave the South. When the Army leaves the South, that's going to effectively end Reconstruction, and of course end a lot of those rights that African Americans had. As I've already said many times, which hopefully clues you into how important it is, once the troops left the South, there's really no one to protect African Americans' rights in the South, and they end up being denied basic rights like the right to vote by literacy tests and poll taxes, while poor whites are still able to vote because of the grandfather clause. In addition to being denied the right to vote, African Americans were also denied other basic rights, and they were discriminated against in other ways. For one, Jim Crow laws were put in place to separate the races and created legal segregation. The Supreme Court in Plessy versus Ferguson actually said that segregation was okay as long as it was separate but equal. The problem with that is it was never equal. The African American conditions were always much worse than the white conditions. African Americans were also kept in poverty because of sharecropping, and they were really only allowed to do menial jobs that did not earn very much money. Most of them stayed on the farm, and sharecropping kept them in debt forever. Hopefully you can see that Reconstruction was a complete and utter failure. It really didn't help African Americans like it was supposed to, and it really did not do what it was supposed to do to put the country back together. Things really went back to the way they were before the Civil War. This concludes the 3.4 summary video. If you haven't already, please go and watch the full-length video that's also linked online, and go to Edmodo to take the notes, turn in the notes guide, and take the video quiz.